Alright everyone, this is going to be the last 30 minutes of today's MSQ. We are so close to finishing Realm Reborn, but we're not quite there. Yes, this is it. This is where the man at the Drowning Wench told me to look. There's a certain variety of clam which can be harvested this time of year in Bloodshore, one which produces the most marvelous pearls. However, these clams are also coveted by certain wild creatures, and since I fared rather poorly in battle last time, let us be off. Alright. That tower, look at this locale. What fortune! I've already found one! Would you be so kind as to keep watch while I work? This should only take a moment. What the fuck? Just a random giant ass sea serpent? I don't know. Why does this thing got so much HP? I'm fighting a boss in Palace of the Dead. And that took way longer than I felt like it should. Well fought, Mira, well fought. I knew I was right to ask you to come. As for me, I have my prize, a bounty of blood pearls. So named for their reddish hue, they were treasured as wards against dark magic in ancient times. I thought I might make charms for everyone, so that no matter where they go, they will always come home. It's sort of the power to defend myself and other people, in a way. Right, well, I mustn't keep Flamin waiting. There's work to be done, and lots of it. We're to secure provisions for Scions in the Libsyn markets, so she may have an eye for quality, but I have a nose for bargains. Will you be heading back to the Rising Stones? If so, pray convey my apologies to Nancy and tell her she needn't worry about me. Farewell, Miro, and thank you for everything. That sounded rather final, didn't it? How about until we meet again? Alright. I'll sit. Oh, here, guys. This giant cat crab. It's part of a, a fate called It's Not Lupus. And the crab is called Cancer. Because, you know, crabs. But it's like a reference to House, I think. Because in house everything is everything's lupus. Doctor, my kid fell over and broke his arm. Well, I'm afraid he's got lupus. That's not a broken arm. That's lupus. Shit, I didn't want to talk to him yet. Fuck. Alright, well. Oh, Miro, is it true that you agreed to lend us a hand? Huzzah! What did I tell you, Courtney? Our misfortune has become a blessing. An opportunity to serve us alongside the Warrior of Light herself. Need I remind you that we have 3 scholars to escort, each of whom will take a different route? True, true, but our mission is the same. Separated by malms we may be, but in spirit we shall be together. If thoughts bring you such joy, you are welcome to thank them. To more practical concerns, Mira, we would have you attend the scholar charged with the surveying the South Shroud. He is waiting at Camp Tranquil as we speak. All you need to do is follow the man. He will determine the most appropriate locations to take his readings. In spirit, Miro, in spirit. We shall be together every step of the way. His arm isn't actually broken. It's a side effect of lupus. Well, that'll serve to as something, I guess. Anyway, that tutorial quest makes me happy, just seeing the carbuncle fuck off. Welcome, Miro. I gather you found Tatarian Limsa Laminsa? My, it sounds as though she had quite an adventure, and while it did not end as she hoped, I suspect it will prove to be a valuable experience. I dare say she could have managed without our intervention. Even so, I appreciate you indulging my request. Alright. Down to Camp Tranquil. Oh, I don't want to go. Teleport, Camp Tranquil. Off we go then. I wonder how many commendations my character even has. I have no idea where to see reputation. I have 16 commendations somehow. At last, the Scion's woman deigns to grace me with her presence. A pity we have no time for pleasantries. Our first destination is Umha. Come, we are late enough as it is. I hate you already. Shut up. Yes, this location should suffice. Once I finish calibrating my instruments, I will require but a moment to take the necessary measurements. I trust I need not explain that my work can suffer no interruptions? Then please, stand at an appropriate distance to keep watch for wild beasts. I see we have both completed our respective tasks. A satisfactory outcome. Though, if I could make one suggestion, you might try to dispatch your foes more quietly in the future. I do not like to pick fault, but I really must be allowed to concentrate. Now then, snake molt awaits, shall we? The scholar really needs to be given a quick punch right to the throat. Alright! So this is parts that you couldn't actually see before because, well, you couldn't fly. But this is a part of a dungeon called Amdapor Keep. It's a pretty neat dungeon, but we're probably not going to do it because it's not part of the main story, so. Right about here, yes. As before, I would ask you to keep an eye out for dangerous beasts as I work. This is weird. Mizu Suijin here is playing a red mage. Fascinating. These readings are not at all what I expected, though perhaps that should come as no surprise. I'm not given to superstition, but there is a queer, almost blasphemous air hereabouts. Let us quit this place and return to Roots Lake, where we have one more site to survey. See, this actually could have been done in a different way. This could have been done to lead them into the final part that they're going to force upon us, which... in a way, I'm glad they do, because it's a good story, and it's good fun, but at the same time, I'm curious as to how they're going to do it then. Alright, this area. I remember this. As before, my guardian, pray lead me to my task and ensure our safety. So this is the lost city of Amdapor. Okay, let's get them all. This data should prove invaluable. Ye gods, what is that stench? Did you slaughter a creep of adamantoises while my back was turned? Quickly now. I don't know why I clicked through so quickly there, but alright. How scared do you think he would be to have a behemoth just land fucking right in front of him? Just... you chose to paddle in the Ichor a while longer, I take it. No matter, I took advantage of my unexpected privacy and performed a cursory analysis of my data. It would appear that there has been a measurable decrease in Eorze's ambient ether concentration since the calamity. However, this data is far from conclusive. We must take additional measurements to confirm my assessment. Oh no. The least among us. For our next survey, I would have you escort me to Earth's fount. The ambient ether concentrations there are so high that crystalline structures form spontaneously. Consequently, anomalous fluctuations there should be easier to detect. Brilliant, yes? No, don't bother answering, that was rhetorical. Now, come along. Earth's fount is actually where you fight, Odin. I believe it's in South Shroud, or Central Shroud. Where is it? That is in... oh, it's actually over there. Okay. It is in South Shroud, just... this is actually an area that people used to use a lot to spirit bond their gear. Now, spirit bonding is probably not something beginners really think about, but it is something that is the thing. Basically, as you use gear, it spirit bonds to you, and when you get to 100, you can basically remove that spirit bond down to 0 and get some whatchamacallit, materia out of it. Hey, there's Geed T Malice, a gigantic. I mean, why does this guy need our protection? He was able to get up here all on his own. You should be more familiar with the procedure by now. Pray, find a suitable position from which to keep watch, and while I take measurements. I like how he said the last area was his last spot, and then turns out it wasn't the last after all. This character was so bad, my connection tanked and stream froze. Yes, quite high, yet still markedly lower than the historical measurements taken near the end of the 6th astral era. Could the presence of a primal account for the difference, or is there something else? Something else. Something else. Scion, come here. I need you. Oh shit. Fear not, my friends. Help has arrived. There you are, Miro. Hori and I were worried when you and your charge failed to return at the appointed hour. You're dragging at work today? Oh no. Gutted like a hog, but not by one, no. These wounds were made with a blade. Doesn't look like he put up much of a fight either. Nary mark on his sword or shield. I've heard nothing of the Crystal Braves operations in this area. What caused that Wilbur to come here? What should we do? We will see to the Scholar's protection, Miro. Aye, and the boy's remains. You should return to the Rising Stones. The Antecedent will want to know what happened here. And so do I. So remember, Riol mentioned that someone went missing? That there was Wilred. He was the missing Crystal Brave. But to what end? Who murdered him? Or what was he involved in that got him killed? Was it Pianet? We may never know. We may never know. Miro, you have returned, and you seem troubled. Did the role of escort chafe so? Wilbur dead? Mayhap murdered? By the 12, how can that be? I will send word to Alphino at once. He will want to conduct a full investigation and send word to Wilbur's family. Gods, he was just a boy. Who could do this, and why? But I'm sorry, Miro, doubtless this weighs heavy on your heart, but we have already imposed much upon you, so much. Pray, take some time for yourself. I dare say you have more than earned a respite. After all, we will be most busy with preparations as the banquet draws near. Should other adventurers summon you elsewhere, perhaps now is the time to heed their call? In order to progress the main scenario, you must first complete certain quests in the Crystal Tower series. The Crystal Tower quest series may be undertaken by speaking with the Outlandish Man in Revenant's Toll. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Also, not the organic, inclusion I thought it was going to be. Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna get started on that. We have 10 minutes or so we're gonna speak with this outlandish man. Legacy of Alleg. Do I know you? Unless I am very much mistaken, you are the famed adventurer who bested the Garlean Empire's general, are you not? The great Miro Prentice herself. Amazing. And more than a little serendipitous. One might call it fate. But I but recently received word of a truly unique opportunity, you see. An advantage opportunity the like of which none of your proven worth could take advantage. The reward? Not less than the accumulated knowledge of a fallen civilization. The risk? A single misstep could cost you your life. But what is a little danger to a storied hero such as you? A woman with the absolute confidence of her own abilities stands to profit handsomely from this venture. No, I crave no recompense from my part in bringing this opportunity to your attention. The historic discoveries you shall make will be reward enough, I assure you. If my words have fanned the flames of your curiosity, then I bid you seek a man by the name of Rambrose at St. Coinus' find. It is he who stands at the doorway to an untold marvel, awaiting the arrival of a champion bold enough to march across the threshold. Alright, so this quest actually used to require a lot of, like, build-up too. So I'm wondering if they lowered that requirement, because there was like a bunch of fates you had to do. You had to go collect like this different colored sand from various areas. It was something. Also, we haven't flown around this area too much, but I really like this area. Alright, here's Rambrose. So they actually force you to do this as part of like the main story now for a reason. I won't tell you what that reason is, but it is important for the story. Why, if it isn't Mill Apprentice herself, I was not expecting such a celebrated guest. To what do I owe the honor of this visit? That reason's also vehement. You were directed here, you say, by a man clad in foreign garb? Well, the opportunity he spoke of must surely refer to our latest anthropographical endeavor. Quite how he came to know of it is another matter. All knowledge of this project was supposed to be restricted to my organization. But that is something for me to ponder in private. You are here now, and your services will, I am certain, prove invaluable. I must warn you, however, that the venture we have in mind is no simple excavation. An unprepared or incautious adventurer could surely find herself on an unplanned and unpleasant journey to Thal's solemn halls. Knowing this, do you still wish to lend us your cooperation? I rather thought you would say that. Your courage is scarcely a secret. Now the first... Miro, I thought it was you! What brings you to St. Coinage's? Don't tell me. The Alliance sent you on another realm-shaking, history-making mission to lay low an apparently insuperable foe? Yes? No? Ah, I see you two are already acquainted. That is well. Master Garland, our intrepid hero here, caught wind of our forthcoming expedition and has kindly pledged to assist us. She has she? Glad to have you aboard, Miro. You don't have the faintest idea what you volunteered for, do you? Very well. Let us begin at the beginning. The Sons of St. Coinage are tasked with unearthing the secret of long-fallen Allegan Empire, and this present endeavor seems to delve more deeply into the civilization's mysteries than ever before. Ah, but I know that look. In the event that you feel ill-equipped to contribute much on the subject of Allegan archaeology, I invite you to recall your encounter with the Ultima weapon. That mechanical monstrosity represented a feat of engineering far beyond aught Garlemald can presently achieve. Nero Tolskava simply awoke it. I mention this by way of reminder that you have had what one might term extensive first-hand experience with a notable Allegan relic. In short, you're practically an archaeologist. Now, to the core of the matter. Here in Modona, there stands an entire Allegan structure that we've yet to investigate. I speak, of course, of the Crystal Tower. After witnessing the destructive capabilities of the Ultima weapon and the Lesser Mundalamud there before it, it would seem wise to treat any remnants from that era with the utmost caution. They must be analyzed, monitored, and above all else, kept from falling into the wrong hands. To put it plain, I have no wish to see another megalomaniacal legatus wield one of those weapons. It was this thought which first moved me to contact the Sons and propose that the tower be explored. For several millennia, the Crystal Tower remained hidden, buried deep underground. But like so many other things that were better left undisturbed, the structure was freed from its stony prison by the great upheaval which accompanied the coming of the 7th Umbrella era. It stands now, in all its splendor, a gleaming spear of crystal, pointed at the bosom of the heavens. We believe the tower to be the repository of much of the ancient's wisdom. Unfortunately, its entrance is guarded by formidable defenses, and we cannot so much as peep through the keyhole, much less set foot inside. These defenses take the form of statues carved into the likeness of giant swordsmen. The 8 sentinels, as the sons are wont to call them, is the first barrier we must overcome. So you guys remember when I played Final Fantasy 3 way back when? Yeah, this is a huge reference to Final Fantasy 3. Why not simply fly over them in an airship, you ask? It's been tried before. Any vessel that ventures too close to the tower is blasted out of the air. We either destroy those statues, or the front door is forever beyond our reach. My colleagues and I are ill-suited to negotiating such deadly hazards. Thus, if we are to gain access to the tower secrets, we must needs employ the services of an experienced adventurer. It will be difficult and dangerous, Bill, but I can think of no finer woman for the task. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you had a taste for these deadly escapades. I look forward to working with you again. There is much more to be done before we can begin the expedition proper. Take some time to prepare yourself, and I shall explain the challenges that lie ahead. Our first objective is to reach the entrance of the Crystal Tower. As I previously mentioned, however, that will prove no easy task. The entrance is guarded by powerful defensive mechanisms, each utilizing one of 4 elements of fire, water, wind, or earth. Each attempting to simply stroll past the unsleeping sentinels invites swift obliteration. Based on Master Garland's analysis, however, we are reasonably certain that the attacks of these lethal contraptions can be reflected using a crystal of the corresponding element. Naturally, these crystals must be surpassed in clarity, free of the slightest impurities, much like the flawless specimens used by the Beastmen in their primal summoning rituals. Mayhap I have said exactly like the specimens they use. Were there any other way, we would not ask this of you. We need you, someone, to enter the Beast Tribe strongholds and liberate their perfect crystals. For the moment, I would have you focus on obtaining 2 of the 4 crystals we require. Pray make for Lanasia, where the Sapsa spawning grounds and the Ugamara mines are located. You may be certain that these materials of the Beastmen's sacred rituals will be well defended. Whether you choose to venture there alone or with companions, I shall leave to your discretion. But whatever you do, please be careful. Okay, we're going to do this one, and then that's where we'll be done for today. It looks like they are continuing to do the full quest line. At least it seems like they are. This is something that we had to do back then. I actually have a video on YouTube called Legacy of Alleg that relates to the original quest line for this. And it's one of the most highly viewed videos in my original playlist. Alright, so we're going to fly out to the Sapsa spawning grounds yet again. We don't have to go too far, except all the way through there, so... You know. I wonder if I can just fly over it. Either it's going to force me to go down lower, or it'll just let me fly. Expecting to hit a wall. No, I didn't hit a wall. Interesting seeing those buildings just phase in. Somebody down there fighting. Alright. Alright, that's one. Let's go to Camp Overlook. I might actually just do enough of this questline to unlock the first of the 3 raids. Which means we can forego doing Black Thaumaturge quest today, because I don't have to have that leveled until we get to Stormblood, so we have a lot of time for that. Hold on, they're not actually gonna make me go too far in here. Cool. Coolio. Bum, 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 bum. At least they don't make you fight the fucking primals again. Got it. Alright. Let's go to Mordona. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and then we will continue on up to the point. The next video might be short. It depends on how many or how long it takes us to get to the dungeon. But yeah. And then we got to discuss something for tomorrow. All right, don't go anywhere, guys. We got more FF14 for you here in just a moment.